Humans were fairly new to the galactic stage at the point of the dispute about planet X-23A. This planet had been claimed by two different species, the humans and the Galath. The Galath were a fairly old species, but extremely militaristic. The Galath were strange in the idea that they were a hive mind, not exactly uncommon, but they had multiple queens who ruled with a sort of democratic system amongst each other. The humans were different from what we had heard of them, although it wasn't much. They were very secretive. They wore bulky suits and rarely ever took them off. In fact, human space was heavily quarantined for being a very deadly environment. It seemed that we Hookums could live there if we wanted to, as long as we were in gravity suits to help compensate for the crushing gravity. The humans also shared our body shape, more or less being bipedal and having a head in the top of their body. They sounded similar enough to us, but a lot smaller. We had been invited on the bequest of the Galath to talks on what to happen with the planet. I think they thought we would side with their claim because of the fact we had long-standing trade connections, and they were part of the alliance that freed our species from what we called the abductors. Since then, we had risen to the most powerful and technologically advanced species in the whole galaxy. "The human ship is requesting to dock," one of the men said. "Tell them to dock in Shuttle Bay 9. Their ship is small enough to get in there." The Galath had already arrived and were actually docked on the side of our ship, the Hertol, and were impatiently waiting in the conference room. I took the turbo lift to the conference room. Unfortunately for us, we would have to keep on spacesuits to breathe, as we had flooded the room with gases and placed a wall to divide the room into two so two gases could be used, which we were not accustomed to, although the humans did come close, but with far, far too much oxygen. I stood in the room with the Galath ambassador. "Many sons," he said. A Galath standard greeting. He looked as if he was staring off into the distance, and I knew I was talking to one of the hive minds directly. "Greetings, Your Majesty," I replied. He simply grinned. The hive mind must have found this amusing and turned away. Then the humans came in. They wore their armor, each with a different symbol on their shoulders and different colors on the armor. I thought these symbols looked oddly familiar. "Hello," one of the humans said. He had a deep voice which was exaggerated, no doubt, by his suit. "I am the representative of the European Union. This is the representative of the British Solar Empire, the North American Union, and the Russian Space Federation," he said, pointing to each in turn. Why had they sent 4 representatives? I wondered maybe they were still a nation-state species. The talks began. The humans seemed oddly cunning, reminding me of our own species. Indeed, I couldn't see their faces, and they couldn't see my own, which made it hard to read facial cues. However, whenever I threw some political nonsense that only ever applied to these situations at them, they seemed completely versed in this,